I'm Julie Fei-Fan Balzer, your host. And for some time, I've been experimenting with food crafts. So today, I'm trying something new, and we are making stencils for cookies. So let me show you how I started. I knew that this was the shape of the cookie that I wanted. So what I did is I traced the cookie cutter so that I had a basic shape to figure out my design. So you can see I did a couple different sketches to try to figure out what I wanted. And then I actually really pencil designed everything I wanted. Then the most important thing is, instead of tracing this outline around here, what you can see I actually traced on my tracing paper is just the inside design, because that is what we're gonna make our stencil from. So we are making these baby reveal or gender reveal cookies. So you can see you have a girl or a boy, and this is a really popular party theme right now. So a lot of people are doing gender reveal, and I thought cookies are a really fun way to do it. So I'm just gonna pop my tracing paper into the scanning mat for my electronic cutter, and we are gonna scan in our design to create our little gender stencils here. So now, once the mat has loaded, we're gonna go ahead and scan that in. Now, this is obviously for a gender reveal party, but you could do this for a wedding with the couple's names. You could do it for any sort of holiday. It's a really fun way to customize your cookies so they're really personal. Or if you didn't want to reveal the gender and you're having a baby shower, you could definitely do something where you put the baby's name or even just the parent's name, something simple and fun. So once this scans in, I'll be able to see it and create my stencils. So there it is right on the screen. And I'm just gonna drag in the arrows nice and tight to get that design. See it, it looks great. And then I'm actually gonna do something a little bit unusual, which is I'm just gonna choose half the design, choose preview, and then we'll just save that half right into the machine. Then, without having to go back really, what I'm gonna be able to do now is, if you guessed, I am going to now save the other half so that now I can separate out the boy and the girl stencils so that they don't have to be linked together. There we go. And we're gonna save that into the memory too. Perfect. And I don't need to resize this or anything because I know it's the perfect size since we traced the cookie cutter. So now we are ready to cut out our stencil. Now, of course, if you're using anything with food, it's really important to make sure that you're using some kind of food-safe plastic because you don't want to contaminate anything in any way. So I'm gonna take my food-safe plastic and I'm gonna go ahead and put it onto my sticky mat here. Okay, and then just load that into the machine. And then we can recall our two different files. So we're gonna go home and then go into the retrieve data right from the machine. And there you go, there's our first stencil. It looks great. And one of the things that I like to do is just go ahead and unify the whole thing into one piece so that I can move it around. So now it's one piece and I can move it around as I want. And then we're just gonna add the second stencil. So the same way over and over. Now, one of the things that I like about making my own stencils is that I feel like they're super duper personal. You know, it really is exactly what I want to say. It really is the look from my hand. But if you're nervous about drawing, I don't want you to feel like you have to draw. You could certainly do something where all you do is just trace something or scan in something that you really like or find some favorite clip art, whatever that is. Once I'm all set, I'm gonna go ahead and press cut and my stencils are gonna come out. So I already cut a bunch of those stencils, so I'm gonna show them to you right here. So I cut from the built-in designs a couple of decorative stencils, and then there are my boy and girl stencils as well. And we're gonna do these cookies in two different layers. So the first thing is I have my cookies, but I'm gonna use a stencil frame just to hold on to my stencil. I think it makes it a little bit easier. So I'm just gonna snap that together and then I'm gonna place it right over my cookie. So now our first layer, we're gonna spray. And this is, again, this is a food safe spray. We're using everything food safe because it's cookies and you want to be able to eat them. So I'm going to go ahead and just spray. I like to spray in sort of several motions across. And you can see that once you've done that, check that out. Isn't that really cool? And we can do the same thing. I'm going to put that aside. Again, just pull your stencil frame apart, and we can do the same thing for the boy cookie now. And there's no reason that boys couldn't be flowers too. I just wanted to do a lot of different stencils. And I'm gonna go ahead now, and again with the food safe spray, and do it in several motions. Spray, 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 spray. You can continuously spray, but I think it gets a little more blobby. It's kind of up to you what works best. But check that out. Isn't that cool? So I'm gonna let these two dry, and I happen to have ones here that are already dry, so I'm gonna grab those. And we are on to the next layer of our cookies. So for the next layer, we're gonna go ahead and use our boy and girl stencils. And not only that, but instead of using the food spray, we're gonna be using royal icing. And royal icing is really just sugar. It's a lot of sugar. And what I'm gonna do is I take some of it onto here, and then I'm just gonna spread it through the stencil. Now you can put it on as thick or as thin as you want, and you can always scrape away a little bit excess like this, and you can see exactly what it's gonna look like. And there is my boy cookie. Now, you can also use this plastic for non-food safe things. So for instance, one of the things I did here is I cut out some stencils and I used them on some tags, including this thank you, and you can see what the finished tags look like here, just like that. So to put together the little bags, all I did was I took my cookies, placed them into these plastic cellophane bags, bunched the top, used a twist tie, and went ahead and put this around. And you can see how cool it is if you look at the finished cookies. They're absolutely beautiful and a very lovely way to give your gender reveal. Now I do want to pull this stencil off really quickly, so let me just pull that off. There are my stencils, right like that, ready to use. And of course, I can now make cookies and all sorts of stuff. One quick tip is once you use your stencils with paint, they're for paint only, but your food stencils can stay food forever.